stress field in a point of a body is given to you, and uh, a plane whose inclinations are given with respect to three axes, so that is x, y and z. So here it is written that a plane is equally inclined to x and y axis and makes an angle of 30 degree with the z axis. Okay, so in that plane we need to determine the normal and shear stress. So in the previous tutorial we have solved such a problem. So in that problem, what is there, that plane is equally inclined to all the three axes. So but here the scenario is something different. Okay, so if you know the direction cosines of the normal to that plane, that is nx, ny and nz, then you can easily calculate the uh, normal and shear stresses in that plane. So the tricky part of this question is to determine the direction quotients of the normal to that plane. So this one is the previous one. Okay, so how you calculate the nx, ny and nz for that plane? Okay, so let me draw the coordinate system. This is x, this is here y, and suppose this is here z. So is it equal inclined to this, means is 45, is both these angles are equally, and is making an angle 30 degree. This angle is suppose 30 degree. So this is that plane. So how you calculate the direction cosines nx, ny and nj? So to determine the direction cosines, you should know the basics of your vector calculus. So here I am explaining that procedure in very brief. So with the given data, that is the means the inclination with the x and y axis and z axis, you are, yeah, you are able to calculate the coordinates of these 3 points. Coordinates of, suppose this is 100, suppose this 100, this point P is 00, then similarly this would be 0, 1 and 0. Okay, so you can easily determine the coordinate of this point with respect to this two axes, because the inclination is given to it. So what that would be is 0, 0, 0 and is root 3. Okay, so 0, 0 and root 3. So now with these coordinates, what you can calculate, you can calculate uh, the vector of line, means any two lines, means either this line or this line. So you can calculate the suppose this is P, this is Q, this is PQ, this is R. Okay, they are the points. Then you can easily calculate with the help of these three coordinates. You can calculate the vector PQ and vector, suppose I am taking this. So you can easily calculate because these two coordinates are given to you. Just subtract this. Suppose you are going to calculate the PQ, then what is PQ? This what is PQ? Can anybody tell me? Yes. Yes. 0 minus 1, 1 minus 0, 0 minus 0, like that. Okay. So you have the points are minus 1, minus 1, 1 and 0. Got it? Similarly, this with the use of this two, in the same way you can calculate the coordinates of vector coordinates for this line PS. Got it? So now this the vector of this vector coordinates of these two lines are calculated. So the line which is perpendicular to this plane, how you will calculate the by the cross product, by the cross product of this two. So the cross product I j k. So here you will put the coordinates of this PQ, that is minus 1, 1, 1 minus 1, 1 and 0. Similarly of PS here, here and here. So now you come up with the line which is normal to this plane, which is normal to this plane. But in this problem, in this equation of your normal stress, this nx, ny and nz are your direction cosine. So how you will decide the direction cosine of this line, which is given by this equation? So just suppose you means you calculated the equation of line as x I plus y j plus z k. Suppose this is that line, then the direction quotients are given by nx is equal magnitude of this vector, that is root of x square plus y square plus z square. Okay. So in the same way you can calculate the y divided by this magnitude, and for nz, z divided by this magnitude will give you nx, ny and nz. So after calculating nx, ny, nz, the rest of the question is very straightforward, as we have done in last tutorial class. That is sigma n. You need to put all this calculated value of nx, ny, nz, and the vector fields are given to you. That is sigma x, sigma y, sigma z, tau xy, tau yz, and tau zx. After calculating this normal stress, you need to calculate the traction vector, that is represented by Tx, that is sigma x nx plus tau xy ny and tau xz nz. And similarly two more equations of fractions in y and z direction. And after that you need to calculate the resultant of this fraction using this formula. So after that, again this shear stress is calculated by using this relation, as we have done it. So very straightforward. Means the tricky part of this question is to calculate the nx, ny and nz, and this is the very basic things of your vector calculation. Okay. So just you can decide the any three coordinates of that plane with the given data in the questions. Just uh, decide the vectors of any two lines in this lines in this plane, and the normal is given by the cross product of these two coordinates. And after that just this will give you the normal of this plane, and after that you can calculate the direction quotient. That's all. Okay. Now moving towards the second question, that is your calculate the principal stresses if the state of stress at a point P is given to you. Okay, so to calculate the principal stress, how you will proceed with this thing? Yes, anybody? So you already know the relation of your this relation means relation of your tractions, uh, means relation between the traction vectors and the stress field. We have already discussed those equations. Those equations are already known as Cauchy stress equations, Cauchy's formula. Okay, so so this is that equation. Okay, Tx is equal, this is that relation. Okay, and also this, let me draw one thing. So this is one of that Cauchy's formula. Similarly, you can write the formulas for traction vectors in y and z direction. So this traction vector, if the principal stress is given by suppose sigma, so this traction vectors also satisfy further relation, that is Tx and is equal, this sigma is principal stress into Nx. Okay, you can verify all those things whatever I have written over here by the numerical solution. So this is sigma Ny and this is your Tz and is equal sigma Nz. Okay, so the suppose this sigma is your principal stress, then this Cauchy stresses also satisfy these three relations. So now we have these three relations and these three relations. So with the help of this six equation, what we can write? Just I am writing one row. That is sigma x minus of sigma tau xy tau xi. Okay, similarly here tau xy sigma y minus sigma tau yz. Okay, so these three, these further two rows you can, so this multiplied by nx, ny, nz is equal to 0. Got it? So, so from this relation, should I write two more? Let me write that is chi y sigma y minus y sigma and tau yz. So similarly here you can write. So for the non-trivial solution of this equation, this is of matrix form. This is matrix, yes, matrix form. Matrix. Okay. So for the non-trivial solution of this equation, the determinant of this coefficient matrix should equal to 0. Okay. So now our given three-dimensional stress fields are something like this: 3, 5, 6, 5, 4, 2, 6, 2, 5. So you can write this equation in this form: 3 minus sigma. So in this equation, these sigmas are the our principal stresses. Okay. So after, so determinant of this coefficient matrix is equal to 0. So determinant means what? Again, this is very basic from your previous mathematics class. Okay, so you need to expand this determinant. Okay, so that will give you a cubic polynomial, means in the form of, suppose a, this is general form of this equation is 6 cube, suppose a, this is b square plus c uh, sigma plus d is equal to 0. This is the general form of the cubic polynomial. So either you can solve this kind of equation manually, or you can directly feed these coefficients into the calculator, and you come up with three values of principal stress: sigma, sigma 1, sigma 2, and that is sigma 1, sigma 2, and sigma 3. Got it? So these are the principal values corresponding to the principal stresses corresponding to the stress field given in the question. Again, if you insert any one of the principal value in this equation, uh, so suppose a sigma 1 is calculated, and if you insert that value of sigma 1, so sigma, suppose I have inserted the value of sigma in this equation, so you will get three equations for three unknowns, that is nx, ny, and nz. So that nx, ny, and nz will means the direction quotients of the plane. Now, the direction quotients of the normal to that plane where sigma 1 is there. Means with the help of this equation, you also calculate the orientation of your principal plane, and those orientations are given by the this direction quotient. Means for each principal stresses are having their own orientation. So this is the standard procedure to calculate the nx, ny, and nz uh, for any principal stress calculated. Okay, so do you have any problem for question number 1 and 2? Yes. So in question number 1 and question number 2, do you have any problem? Very straightforward. Here the calculation of nx, ny, and nz is there, and here the calculation of principal stress. So you can use these numerical values, and you can match your answers with the answers given in the tutorial sheets. Okay. Now further, what is there in third question? So in third question, let me show the schematic of the third question. Okay, it's there. So a steel shaft is to be force fitted into a fixed inlet cast iron hub. So here you can see this is the steel shaft, and this is the hub is fitted over that hub. The shaft is subjected to a bending moment, torque, and vertical force. So here we can see shaft is subjected to twisting moment, torque, bending moment M, and the point load P. So suppose that at a point Q in the hub, the stress field is represented by the matrix. So due to, so that calculation is not your part. So you also can calculate the if the dimensions of the shaft and other things are given to you, then if the magnitudes of this torque moment and uh, if this magnitude of this torque, bending moment and point load is given to you, then you can calculate the stress over the point q. Okay, so here it is given in the question, it is directly given that the stress fields in that point q is given to you. So determine the principal stresses in that point, determine the principal stresses in that point and their orientation with respect to original coordinate system. Okay, so again this is very similar to your previous one. So here again stress fields is given, stress field is given to you. You need to calculate the principal stresses corresponding to that point and their orientation. So the orientation part is new in this question. So I have already explained how to find the orientation. Here, meaning of orientations means you need to calculate the direction quotient of normal to that plane. And with the help of that direction quotient, you can easily calculate the weather equation of plane, the orientation of plane with the three means with the coordinate systems and all those things. Okay, so again, this is a very basic question. Okay, so now what is there in question number 4? So question number 3, nothing is there. You need to calculate sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3, and for each sigma that is principal, you need to calculate the direction quotients nx, ny and nz. Okay, so just verify your answer with the answer given in the questions and calculate nx, ny and nz corresponding to each principal stress. The uh, absolute values of those direction cosines are not given in the tutorial sheet, so you can check with the principal stresses only. Okay, so the stress in the fourth question, the stress tensor at a point in a machine element with respect to Cartesian coordinate system x, y, z is given by, this is again given to you. Okay, stress fits. Okay, so determine the state of stress and I1, I2, I3 corresponding to x dash, y dash, z dash coordinate system defined by rotating x, y through an angle 45 counterclockwise about z axis. Okay, so can anybody tell me what is this I1, I2 and I3 are? What is the significance of this I1, I2 and I3? Yes, I can understand the state of stress, but what is I1, I2 and I3? So have you studied these things in your theory class? Yes? Yes or no? Have you studied this thing? These I's are actually your stress invariant. Okay, correct. Okay, these are the stress invariants. Okay, so have you understand how this x dash, y dash, z dash, and what is the relation between this original x, y, z and x? So actually, let me draw this thing first. This is your x, this is your y, and this is your suppose. So it is the given in this question that rotating x, y through a angle of 45 about z axis. So this is a rotating, suppose clockwise. counterclockwise. This is your 45 degree. So this is your new x dash. This is your new y dash, and z dash is coincides with. So this is the orientation. Let me show. Okay, here it is represented. This is x, x dash, y dash, and z and z dash are in the same. Are the same. Okay. So how you will proceed with the this kind of problem means you need to actually relate the stress fields from one coordinate system to that of to that of other coordinate system, and the relation between these coordinate systems are given to you. Means here it is given, na? Yeah, it is rotating 45 degree counterclockwise about the z-axis. So to solve such kind of problem, you need to draw a table, something like this. So actually these two coordinate systems are related by the direction cosines of direction are related by direction cosines only. Okay, so let me explain this thing one by one. So what is this nx1? That here it is given. This is cos of angle between x and x dash. Similarly, what is ny1? That is cos of angle between x dash y, and similarly nz is equal cos of x dash and z. Okay, so what is again meaning of this nx2 then? Nx2 is cos of angle between, yes, y dash and x. So now see this equation. Now this relate this thing with the coordinate system. Okay. So what is the first row of this matrix then? The angle of x, the angle of x this with respect to x. So first row will be, yes, cos 45. Yes, tell me. 1 by root 2. Now between x dash and y is again 1 by root 2, and between this x dash and y is 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0. Okay. So similarly, tell me the second row. Yes. Angle between this y dash and y dash and x is 135. Cos 135 is minus of 1 of root 2 between y dash and y is 45 is 1 by root 2, and again 0. And what is the third row? Is 0, means again 0, and cos 0 is 1. Okay, so this is the matrix. This is this matrix. Okay, so again this relation you should aware of. This relation will come from the coordinate transformation technique. So in this relation, means here I have means here I have written for only two components. Two components means for sigma x, that is sigma x dash and tau x dash y dash. So remaining you will complete you need to write and compute by yourself only. So in the first relation, this is nothing but means if you know these two relations, then you can easily write other equations, other similar equations. Okay, so try to understand this relations carefully. What different terms are there in these equations is nothing but the components means component stress components of your original coordinate system and the direction quotients from this table only, direction quotients from this table only. So here sigma x and x1 square and y square and y1 square and z1 square. So in some other relations, and both nx1 and x2 will come, then nz1 and z2 will come. So try to understand this relation and try to remember these relations, at least any two, to calculate the normal and to calculate the shear component. So you can easily feel this stress, state of stress for this relation. Okay, so again, after calculating this table, this stress fields in the your updated coordinate system, so you are able to calculate the stress invariance. So here actually it is calculated for the your, so here in the question it is what is given, uh, state of corresponding, yes, stress invariants corresponding to x dash y dash z dash coordinate system. So in this equations, these are the standard formula to calculate this stress invariance. So if this stress field is calculated, then with the use of that stress field, you can easily calculate this stress invariance. So in this relation, these are the your x, sigma x dash sigma y dash, and in these two equations also. Okay, so these relations will give you the stress invariance. Okay, now moving to so do you have any problem in this question again, in the question number 4? So this is the answer for these are the uh, sigma 1j stress field in the modified coordinate system and the corresponding stress invariance. Okay, so now the fifth question. So in the fifth question, draw Mohr circle for the following state of stress and find the maximum shear stress. Okay, find the maximum shear stress corresponding to this stress fields given. So basically, this is a problem of your 3D Mohr circle. Okay, so to solve such problems using the Mohr circle, so you must know one principal stress. You must know one principal stress. Are you getting my point? So can you tell me from this stress field? Can you tell me which one is the your principal stress and why? Suppose the coordinate system is something like that, x, y, and this is the standard coordinate system. So which one is the your principal stress? No, 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 no. Those are the your diagonal components. Those are not your principal stresses. Principal stress means these are the means you can sigma 1 0 0 0 sigma 2 0 0 0 sigma 3. How you will decide the principal stress? Means suppose this is the suppose this is a okay, so this is z direction, means in the direction of principal stress no shear stresses will be there, no shear stresses will be there. So if you relate these things with this,
10.
yes, obviously that is 10, because in suppose in this direction, suppose I am talking about this phase, that is your xy phase perpendicular to z direction. So in this phase we have no shear stresses. See, these are the 0. Okay, but shear stresses are there in this 2, that is 3 here. So we can easily say that this 10 is our one of the principal stress. So to solve the problem by three-dimensional Mohr circle, at least we have one principal stress known. Okay, so now moving. Okay, so must know one principal stress. Okay, so here I have drawn the sigma and tau plane. So try to understand this problem very carefully. Very means such problems are very important for your exam point of view. Okay, so here this means here suppose this is means we can represent this straight up stress in this form. So here you can see this is 10 MPa, this is in y direction, this is in z direction, is this is in z direction, sorry, I have written okay, 12 4, this shear stresses are 3 megapascal. Okay, so so in the sigma tau plane I can easily represent this 10 megapascal. So it is somewhere here, somewhere here. Okay, this is your 10 megapascal. So I have indicated here by red dot. Okay, so you can now you can draw the xy plane, which will look like this. Means here in the y direction is 4, in the x direction is 12, and here, so corresponding to this stress fields, this stress values, you can calculate the mean. How you will calculate the mean? Means if you know the calculation of principal stress in 2D cases na. So this is simple a 2D problem, this is a simple 2D problem. I am considering the xy plane. Okay, I am talking about this plane. Okay, so you can calculate the mean corresponding to this problem, that is 12 plus 4 divided by 2, and radius of the circle in 2D case is given by, what is that formula? Sigma x minus sigma y divided by 2 whole square plus tau xy whole square. So this is the your radius and plus minus of your mean. This is sigma mean, that is sigma x plus sigma y divided by 2. Okay, so this sigma mean is 8 calculated, and this radius is 5. Okay, so here I have represented that point by this point. This is mean, and radius with respect to this 8. So this is again one of this will give again your one of the principal stress, that is 8 plus 5, that is equal to 8 plus 5 is equal to 13, and 8 minus 5 is 3. So here you can see this is your this is the location of mean from this point, that is 8, and this is the uh, just wait, this is mean, this is sorry, this is your uh, 5, this is 5. So 8 plus 5 is equal 13, and 8 minus 5, what is this value, is 3. From here it is 3. Okay, so now again we can calculate the orientation of this principal stresses, this 13 and 3. Okay, so we can calculate those orientations, and I am denoting those by suppose 1 by coordinate 1, 2 and 3. So here one principal stress is already known to you, that is 10 megapascal, and another two stresses are calculated now, 13 and 3. Now I am arranging means in ascending and descending order. So sigma 1 is 13, sigma 2 is 10 and 3. So these three principal stresses corresponding to this problem is now calculated. Now we have to represent these stresses in the circle, in the normal stress and shear stress plane. Okay, so again we can just we can draw the means in three different way, in three corresponding to three different planes, that is 1 2 2 3 and 1 3 plane. Okay, so here they are represented. So corresponding to this 10 and 13, we can calculate the mean and radius. Corresponding to this 13 and 3, we can calculate. So you can use any any two of these three, and you can now see this. Suppose in this case, suppose I am taking this 13 and 10, 13 and 10. So corresponding means this sigma mean and radius is calculated using the similar formula. From this is the mean, sigma 1 plus sigma 2 divided by 2, and this is the formula for the radius. So for corresponding to this two principal stresses, mean and radius are calculated. So here it is 23 by 2. So this is the mean, this is 23 by 2, and radius already calculated by 3 by 2. So this is the 3 by 2. If you draw, this will come, means you can add this 2, you can you will get 13, you will get 13 and 10 only, you will get 13 and 2, means from this figures we are calculating the mean and radius only. Okay, so this again, this second Mohr circle we can draw. Similarly, using this second schematic will give the identical this circle, and this third will give you the this circle. Okay, so here our Mohr circle is completed, and we can calculate the maximum shear using this formula, that is sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2, that will give you 5, and the location is somewhere here, sigma 1 and minus sigma 3 divided by 2, that is the radius of your biggest circle. Okay, so try to solve the remaining problem from this tutorial series, and we can discuss this thing afterwards. Okay. Okay, so my next class is there, so you all can leave now. Thank you.